What's up, everyone? It's Deltlead, and welcome to Airport CEO. Now, this is a game I've been playing for a little bit now, and I really enjoyed and wanted to play it on the channel. It is a kind of top-down building and management game where you are the director, the CEO of a airport, and you start out with just an empty plot of land, and you build up from just a very small private airstrip up into basically a massive international transportation hub. It's a fun little game. Highly recommend you play it. You can get it on Steam. I'll leave a link to the Steam page in the description of this video if you want to check it out for yourselves. But we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's pick our CEO. Kind of a goofy little character creator here. Let's give ourselves... There's some interesting hairstyles here. I guess that one's fine. I don't have quite that dark of hair. I don't have that red of hair. I'm not that blonde. There we go. That's close enough. That's close enough. Oh, that's good, I guess. Sure. Sure. And then let's pick ourselves a suit. I like that one. And my name will be Deltlead. Sure. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. We need to pick a location for our airport. We can pick anywhere on the globe, but I'm thinking somewhere near where I actually live. So there's Memphis. I live in Tennessee in the Memphis area over here, but I don't want to be in Memphis itself. Let's pick somewhere else. Somewhere in that area. Muscle Shoals. Kansas City, Little Rock, Dallas, maybe somewhere a little bit north of that. Patica, Evansville, Belleville, Quincy. I think this is up in the Midwest of the United States. That's a good enough spot, I think. Quincy. What should we name our airport? We're in Quincy, so let's call it the Quincy International Airport. That works. And then QIA, Quincy International Airport. That can be our code. Let's pick a logo. Yeah, sure. That one looks nice enough. We're going to pick the large map because that's going to let us build out our airport to a much larger area. And as far as the difficulty goes, so I've played this game before, and it is actually pretty easy. It is not a particularly challenging game. It's more of a sandbox. So I'm going to play it on the hardest difficulty. So we start with a very small amount, $500,000. That's not a lot of cash. It's enough to get like an initial airfield going, but not much else, and that's fine. And then emergency events are very common, so we're going to have to deal with various emergencies, planes having mid-flight issues, and then basically with these emergencies, your airport needs to have the equipment, the infrastructure to help deal with them. All right, so we are in our airport, our property that we're going to build our airport on. I'm not going to play the tutorials. I do know what I'm doing, so we'll just go ahead and get into it. So this is our property that we're going to be building on. We've got a entrance to the property from this road here, and then we have this area to build our airport on. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all the trees here. Now, let's actually start designing our airfield, right? So I'm going to pause the game. We've got a couple of different things we can build. We're going to need an air traffic control tower, a runway, a taxiway, and then we're going to need aircraft stands. These allow us to park airplanes on our property. This is our runway. You can see it's fairly big considering how much space we have to build. This is the small runway. And I'm going to set this off to the side, basically as far over here as I can. Because I want room to expand my airport once we have some more technology unlocked. There is like a research. There's projects that you can hire staff to research or unlock new things. So right now, all we have is general aviation. We can't have any airlines on our airport or anything like that. So general aviation, those are private pilots just flying their planes. And this is just like a little private airstrip that they can land their planes at, or park them at more permanently. As far as the layout, I'm actually going to have one taxiway that runs parallel to my runway, and I'm going to have a second taxiway alongside that. Actually, no. No, that's too much money. Okay, we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of that. That's too much money, actually. We don't have the we don't have enough funds to have that parallel taxiway. So instead, I'm gonna build my taxiway out here a little bit farther, and then once we have the money, we can build that additional taxiway. The reason I wanted that additional taxiway is so that planes can basically be traveling, this way on one taxiway and this way on the other taxiway. So this taxiway is where I'm going to have all my aircraft stands. That's where the planes are going to park. And then they can pull out here and either go directly to the runway, or if there's another plane on the taxiway, they can go to the second taxiway. And it just helps reduce traffic. Let's put down some stands. I'm just going to start from here. And we'll build 5 for now because I do need to build a tower. The tower, where should we put the tower? I think the tower could probably go right here. We're not going to put a fuel depot down just yet, although we will eventually want that. And that is as many as I can build. Okay, so that is as much as I can build with the initial money I have. Now, here's how everything else works in the game. So you have the contracts you can accept from different companies. So there are 2 construction contracts. One's a 2-star, one's a 3-star. This one from Highway, and this you can read the details of the contract. This is all kind of flavor text. The important conditions are right here. So how many workers I get? In this case, 61 workers at $9.50 per hour per contractor on site. This one is 138 workers for $6.2 per hour. That's the better contract, so we're going to accept that one. Generally, the more stars you have, the better the contract. There are certain contracts where you may want to choose a lower contract because you can't fulfill the requirements of the higher one. But in this case, we do want the better contract. So I'm going to deploy all of my contractors. So right now I have no workers on site, but as I deploy them, you'll see these buses come in, and they're going to offload all their workers right here. You can see them getting off the bus. Now, the other thing I want to put down is a fence. There's a police car, an airport police car you can have go around, and one of the things they'll do is they will drive off any unwanted animals. So what you'll see is there will be animals that will kind of rove around the map, and if they get in the way of the planes, it can bog up traffic on your taxiway. Like if there's a cow on the taxiway, then the planes can't taxi, and that slows down the operations of your airport. If you build a fence around the airport, it keeps the animals out, and that's a cheaper way to deal with them. So I always put a fence down, and then we'll put a gate right here so that the contractors can get in and out of the area once that fence is built. Now, you can see they've already started constructing a good portion of our airstrip here. What we will need to do, so we have this taxiway, and that's great. Oh, shoot, I didn't actually build this all the way out. There we go. What we need to do, though, is actually connect the aircraft stands with the runway. And the way we're going to do that is by using the taxiway path and basically telling the airplanes where they're allowed to go. So these are all connected now. We have an air traffic control tower. The runway is open, so you can see all the warning labels went away. So this airstrip is ready to operate. The only thing we have left to do is actually open the airport and allow general aviation. There it is. All right, so that's our first plane right there. It is a Pilatus aircraft PC-12. It's flying from McAllen Miller International Airport, which looks like that's down in Texas. And then we can see its arrival time was at 15:45, and it's departing at 8:43. 2043. So it'll be on the ground for 4 hours, 58 minutes. That's basically 5 hours. So the way money works is you get money from airplanes, either general aviation airplanes or airlines, for providing them services. So in this case, he landed on the runway. That was $500 for landing on the runway. And then for every hour he sits on the stand, he'll give me another $100, I want to say. I think it's $100. We have our second plane coming in here. This one is a Piper PA-28 Cherokee, a real small plane right here. Now we're in the red a little bit, maybe a lot of bit. But as more planes land, yeah, we're getting a little bit more money from each of these planes. This one's a Piper J3 Cub. He'll be on the ground for 7 hours. And that's it. Like, all we're doing is building and managing the facility. The actual planes, all the operations kind of happen automatically. So you'll see each of these planes comes in. This is a Beechcraft Baron 58. Nice little plane there. And as our aircraft stands fill up, now you can see we're making more money per hour now. So we're in the positive. We're just about breaking even now. The way I can save money, so I had those contractors build all that stuff, right? Now that they've built it, I don't need them here anymore. The fence is built, the runway's built, everything's done. And I'm paying $5 an hour basically per guy here, which is a decent chunk of change. So I'm just gonna send them away. I still have them available. I can redeploy them when I need to, but I don't need them right now. So to save money, I can get rid of these guys, and then I've got very little in expenses at that point. I'm just making money from the planes on the stand, and that's it. And this airport's going to be pretty self-sufficient. I will need to manage things occasionally. So this runway has a condition every time a plane lands on it or takes off from it. It wears out a little bit. Now, the other thing we need to do, and I actually shouldn't have dismissed everyone. We're making some money now. We do actually have some funds. So there is another way to make money from these guys, and that's to have a fuel. We can have fuel at our airport, and we can sell fuel to these flights to make a little extra money on them. So if I go to aircraft infrastructure, the small avgas 100 LL. So avgas is the kind of like civilian, or not civilian, but general aviation fuel. Yeah, I'm going to build one of these. And then we're going to need a couple other things. So I'm actually going to tear out a part of this fence here. We'll tear out this section right here, because what we're going to need to do is build a vehicle checkpoint. And a vehicle checkpoint is going to allow various vehicles that are not just, cars, but actual like airport vehicles, access to the airport. So fuel trucks and stuff like that. I want to put this right about here is good. And then the fence actually continues on through this building. So we'll rebuild the fence to make sure that this is sealed. We'll just go right there. And then we're going to have to connect this road. So I'm going to use asphalt here. And then we'll use asphalt there. And once they build this up, so that is the vehicle checkpoint. Now we can actually have vehicles in our airport. The only other thing we're going to need is a parking spot, service lot, which I can put, that's a little big actually. Can I fit this in somewhere down here? No. Okay. We'll put it here then. For now, that's fine. We don't quite have enough money for it. We'll just wait until we have a couple more planes land. There we go. We've got enough money for it. That'll go there. So we have a place for our vehicles to park. And then we can start fueling these planes. So we're going to need an actual fuel in this fuel tank, right? Which is going to require another contract. So we need a fuel supplier. There's Zip Fuel. $1.59 per liter for avgas and 38 cents per liter for Jet A1. This one $1.64 and 35 cents. So Nature Fuel here, it's more expensive for the avgas, cheaper for the jet fuel. So I'm actually gonna. Oh wait, there's a third one. Avi Fuel here. Oh, here we go. $1.27 and 33 cents. So yeah, this is the contract we want. Avi fuel. And we can see already there's an Avi fuel truck that is coming into our airport. And he's going to offload into this tank. We actually are going to go into the red here. But that's okay. We can be in the red a little bit. So we're going to need to get out of the red before we can buy a fuel truck. That's not going to take too long, though. I actually should have bought the fuel truck first, because now we're going to have to wait until we're back in the black. Okay, so I've decided this is actually going to take a long time for us to make that much money. So instead of just waiting until we have saved up enough money, I'm actually going to take out a loan. So the way loans work in these games, there's usually 3 tiers. The third one's not available to us right now, but there's a small, medium, and large. The smaller loans have a higher interest rate, but a smaller principal, so the hourly cost is lower. And then, like, your biggest loan has the smallest interest rate, but costs the most because you have such a large principal. So we're going to take out this small loan from S&I Financial for $160,000. That'll be enough to buy us a gas truck. We're going to just need the one. We're not going to need a whole lot. And once that's on the airport, we can start selling fuel to these guys. I'm also going to pave this parking lot in asphalt just for cosmetics. Because I like to keep everything looking consistent. So we should see here in a minute that fuel truck show up. All right, so there's our little fuel truck. And it's going to go to the fuel depot and load up. And it actually carries a ton of fuel. 20,000 liters. And it's going to go ahead and park. And then the next airplane that lands, once we... Got to go up here. Avgas 100 LL fuel service enabled. So now we are basically saying, hey, we're selling fuel here. If you want to fuel up, we have it for you. So the next plane that lands, pretty much all planes will request fuel if you have the service enabled. And it's good because this is a larger airplane. It's going to want a decent amount of fuel. So here we see our fuel truck come up. And we got 250, 500 fuel sold to him. So you can see our gas tank here is a little lower. And we have sold some fuel to that guy. Now, the goal here is to break even and pay off that loan, right? The way we're going to accomplish that is by having more planes at our airport. So I'm going to go ahead and put down another 4 aircraft stands. We'll go ahead and connect these up. And then our contractors on site will build these. And then that'll allow us to support more airplanes. And the more airplanes we can have on the ground at a time, obviously we're making money just in the parking fees, but we're also going to be making money selling fuel to them. And having more aircraft stands means we'll have a higher rate of airplanes coming in and landing in our airport. Same for that one. Both of those drank down quite a bit of fuel, which is great because we're making a good profit every time we sell fuel to them. Now, with the remaining money we have here, we have $30,000 that we have not spent from that loan. I want to build our first building. No, that's fine right there. But we're going to need to rearrange our roads here because what we're going to have is basically administrators that are going to work in this office, and they're going to be what allows us to unlock new technologies. So we'll have this built first. I'll put a door on it right there. And then this is going to be our first building. We'll move this, I think. And we'll go ahead and put a bus drop off right here. So there's personal cars that you can have pull up here and drop people off, taxis, buses, and then we have this parking lot right here. And then the other thing we're going to need is a walking path. People won't just walk through the grass. They'll only walk on approved surfaces, which can get confusing at times and mess you up if you're not careful. So we're going to build a walking path right here. And then this is going to be our administration building. So I'm going to go to staff. We're going to need a staff room. Make this whole room a staff room. And then let's build a couple of office chairs. We'll start with 4 right there. And this is our office building. We'll also want some seating for our staff. They will want to take breaks periodically. So we'll do like a little couch area here with some tables. Nice. And then just for fun, let's go ahead and throw some decorations down. Some palm trees out here. And that'll be nice. We're going to make this a staff-only parking lot. And then that'll allow employees to actually reach the airport here so they can park their cars here. Or if they're just being dropped off, they can be dropped off in one of these zones. And then that'll be kind of our staff-focused area right here. Eventually, we'll have a public terminal. So either I'll expand this to be public transportation as well as staff and expand the terminal this way, or we'll build the public drop-off over here and have the like public terminal over here. But that is the start. Now we need to actually have people on site. So actually, I'm here. This is my character right here, Delt Lee. There I am. I was born June 11th, 1941. So my skill is 100%. I'm super good. Other employees I hire will have varying skill levels. Higher skilled employees will cost more per hour. Lower skilled employees are cheaper. But my skill is a part of the function of my productivity, but the other parts are my bladder and my energy. So if I don't have a place to rest, my productivity will go down, and if I need to go to the bathroom, my productivity will go down. So we will need to build a bathroom. 2 bathrooms, a male and a female bathroom over here. So we'll slap this together real quick, and then we'll assign the genders for these bathrooms. Once these guys build them, we'll open them up. So the contractors are coming to deliver the supplies now. And then once they're done, we'll go ahead and open them, and then that'll give me a place to use the bathroom. Because you can see my bladder is starting to empty. So we'll go ahead and open this because I do have toilets available now. And we'll open this one. There we go. So we have our bathrooms. And I use the women's room for some reason. Okay, well, that's a choice. I guess there's nobody else here, so it doesn't really matter which one I use. Let's go ahead and hire some staff now. So there's different kinds of staff we can hire right away. Executives unlock some specific skills, but we don't need those yet. Really, all we need is an administrator. And you can see some of these are pretty expensive. What I have found is it's better to hire someone who's kind of middle level skill right there. Let's filter by administrator. So like Mira Petrov here is $18.1 an hour, and she's about 50, maybe 60% skill level. Whereas like Konstantina Nikolaitis is $32.7. So she's more expensive per hour to hire. But I'm going to hire her, and I'm going to hire Voronya Rusan. Very Russian names. Now, what I can do, you can see these taxis are dropping them off, so they're now at our facility working for us. But what I can do is I can actually train them, and it will cause their salary to go up, but not as much as if I had hired them right out of the gate. And that allows us to save a little bit of money there. Now, we have 2 administrators, so we can start researching some stuff. Let's get our first commercial license. We'll start that project, assign our 2 administrators to start researching it. You can see they're making progress researching it. And that'll allow us to actually have an airline. And that's when the game really starts to take off, is when we're supporting airlines and stuff like that. But that's the start to our airports. We have our general aviation airstrip set up and running smoothly. We've got our parking area here, our staff area, and our office building right here. But this airfield is now operating, about as well as you could want it to. The only thing really we could do to improve it now is to increase the number of stands that we have. Push these all the way out to the end. I will do that, but for now, I think that's good enough. So that's where I'm going to leave this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And in the next one, we will continue to expand our little airport. Until then, everyone have a great day, And I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.